All right, guys, on this next armbar option, this happens a lot with the kids, is when Adam is trying to armbar me in this situation, so he gets me in the armbar. So this happens a lot with kids, but it happens with adults too. Their instinct takes over and they bring and ratchet their elbow to the ground. Like you see that happen all the time. So Adam no longer has this, let me see Adam. Adam no longer has this armbar. He could get it and he could fight for it, but it's a lot of effort. And a lot of times by the time I get to this position, I'm almost out of it. But it leaves this other opposite arm vulnerable. So if my elbow is clamped, he's gonna have to shove it through and grab it. If my elbow is up, it makes it a lot easier. He's gonna take his right hand and go over in front and hug it to his chest. Notice that he secures his elbow. Sometimes you end up with the possibility of armbar number one. For whatever reason, he can squat, he can really lower himself down and ratchet my hand on top of his shoulder. When that happens, the most important part about this little armbar is keeping his butt back and his posture straight. Now, shrug your shoulders like you're listening to a cell phone with no arms, and pressure on the elbow, tap, tap, pressure on the elbow. Notice that he's shrugging his head to his shoulders so that he isolates my wrist so I can't move it. If I move my wrist, I'll get out. And he's slightly north of my elbow, meaning that he's between my elbow and my shoulder, not my elbow and my wrist. He wants to be slightly north so he can squeeze down. As he squeezes down, he's got the armbar. Ready, Adam? So like tap. All right, that's number one. That's one version of it, one option of it. The other option is he's trying to get the armbar, and I ratchet the arm to the ground. He no longer has option of that, and he swims his arm over. Wait, move this way, Adam. The kids see. He swims his arm in front and grabs my elbow. All right, this one's, there's a couple different options here. This is my favorite option. You can go, there's an option in which you can go towards the legs, and there's an option that you can go towards the head. This is a little more difficult, requires a little bit of athleticism. He posts his hand and he removes his foot. Opposite foot, opposite hand. So this foot is on the ground and that hand's on the ground. When you go to do this, it's an awkward position when you lift your hips up, but once you do it and you get it done, you'll get it done. So Adam lifts his legs up and goes all the way over to the other side. Since I'm vulnerable on the other side, there's an armbar. He can leave the option of leaving his shin here, which is kind of like a judo armbar. It has its pros and cons, or he can throw this leg over, and there's your armbar. All right, let's do that one more time. This happens a lot when kids try to escape. So they're here, Adam's trying to armbar me, and my instincts are to ratchet my elbow to the ground. After all, that's the armbar, that's the arm that he's trying to armbar. So he takes his hand in front and grabs. When that happens, if he lowers his base really low, he's able to get my arm onto his shoulder. If that happens, the number one thing he wants to do is have his head in front of his hips and have a good posture. So your bottom is back and your head is forward. Notice he's isolated my wrist with his shoulder and his head, and now he just presses, presses gently on my elbow. It doesn't take much from that angle. If that doesn't work for whatever reason, same thing. His arm goes, move that way, they can't see, move this way. There you go, perfect. His arm goes in front and hugs. He removes this leg, the one that's closest to my hips. Post and post, opposite leg, opposite hand, lifts come up and swivels all the way over the other side. Now, he can get the armbar and the regular armbar here with both legs across the chest, or he can continue on with this armbar here. There's pros and cons to that. This one here allows me to do the hitchhiker escape a little bit easier, but there's good things and bad things about both of those. All right, go and try that. And then there was one more, right? I thought that was it. No.